Is that good?
Yeah, but the light needs to be. Hi, everyone.
Hello. How is everybody tonight? Oh, heck. I got this thing moving tonight. Forgot to slow it down.
How do you do that?
Mm-hmm. Can anybody slow down the chat? The admins?
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, if we can even slow it down a little more. Thank you, guys. If you've sent us an email with asking for an agreement, or you've sent one through Telegram, we'll get those out to you. If you're in Telegram, you can actually just get one. Yeah, Anthony, I saw that the scammer group one of them finally got shut down. We'll probably have some more pop up, so just be careful. Nah, Michael Thomas. How is C4?
You got to turn it the right way if you're gonna sponsor
C4. These showed up today at the house. Thank you. Lily Ford, there's an ebook. If you will email us, I'll pin the email address in, or you can go into Telegram. The admins will put the Telegram link in, so you can get in after the live. And there's an ebook on how to do everything. So.
Yeah, the more people that report the scammer groups, the faster we can get them shut down.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer tonight. We just thank you so much for this time together. We ask that you would speak new information to us, that you would have us to know, to ask the questions that you would have us to ask, and to learn amongst each other. We thank you for this time together so that we can grow this movement and further our freedoms that we so graciously deserve from you. In Jesus' name. Okay.
All right, so before we get started, this video is for educational purposes only. Neither one of us are attorneys or financial advisors. We do not offer legal advice or financial advice. Please make sure you're educating yourself on this subject. Do not take everything we say as the word. Make sure you're going out there and looking up this information. Anything else?
Yeah, if anyone wants to take our video and use it, you can definitely use it for educational purposes. If you're using it maliciously or to defame us, please cease and desist, or I will be giving notice of that.
Yeah, guys, I mean, as we're doing this, you're going to have more and more people trying to state that what we're doing is not correct.
You got to remember there's a lot of people that are there's agents within our group that want to confuse the process. There are people out there that want to confuse the process for personal gain. There are a lot of people that are skeptical of the process, which that's not a problem to be skeptical if you are just new to this. But, you know, just be careful. Just be careful and pay attention to who you're listening to. And if you have questions, please, please ask. And those that are within our movement of people that are out talking on platforms like this, you know, we really invite you to have a conversation with us so that we can come together and not spread misinformation amongst the movement so that we can all be on the same page. It's not our goal to, you know, take anyone's platform down or to say that anyone's not doing the right thing. I think if we're all in this together, this can be a great movement that can move all of us forward. I think that that's been the problem in the past, is that we've not stuck together, and look where it's gotten us over our lifetime. So, you know, the problem that I have with other people using our name in certain ways or confusing our process, you know, to come together and to figure out the process together, or to figure out what they have questions of, you know, versus what we're doing and things like that. I think we can only grow the movement forward by coming together as people and talking amongst each other to, you know, help the people. So
thank you for all your prayers. They really are helping.
So tonight we're going to do a Q&A and go over just some questions that you have, since it's been since Wednesday, since we talked. And, you know, I know that there's been a lot of questions out there and different things that we might need to address tonight. And then Wednesday night, we'll do something more educational that I'm working on. Still, again, working on educational videos that I'm trying to put together, but they're not ready to go up yet. But I'm working on that. And then what else? And then we'll do a Q&A on Thursday again on Telegram, so that those seem to work out really well because people can get their questions asked. So that'll be our schedule again for this week, unless something changes. So let's go ahead and ask your questions, and we'll try to get to as many as we can tonight.
And if y'all have noticed, there's been several people added to the next group. Tara and I stayed up. Oh, I don't know.
Well, we worked all weekend till middle of the night, every night this weekend.
Went through actually 2.5 toner cartridges now. Several reams of paper.
Yeah, we had to make a Sam's run and get boxes and boxes and boxes of envelopes and file folders and ink and paper clips and staples and all the things that you need for an office. So we had a very productive weekend. So hopefully we've gotten caught up. I would say if you are in the April group, if you submitted your paperwork in April at some point and you haven't heard back from us at least by tomorrow, because there's some that we still haven't told you that we're done with your paperwork. But I would say until April 25th, because we're on May, but there's some that are here and there that we haven't finished between the 25th and the 1st. So I would say if you are anywhere in April up until the 25th, if you haven't heard from us by tomorrow at the end of the day, please contact us and ask us about your paperwork. Anything after that, we'll get to you, and we'll make the same announcement if we have not gotten to you by next week on a certain date. But up until the 25th of April, I would say if you haven't heard from us by tomorrow afternoon, at the end of tomorrow afternoon, then get with us and we'll let you know where you are.
Yeah. It says we filed a 1099-A to pay off existing mortgage and loan. Can they cancel that and have us be the trustees? Yes, you can do that. You can go in and void out your submission or block your submission and then redo them and send them to us. Friend has a car insurance agency. Can I give her a 1099-A for the payment of the year's insurance? Does the actual insurance company have to? The actual insurance company will have to accept it. Now, she might take it and give it to the corporate office and see if they'll file it.
Conditional acceptance. I'm not sure what that stood for.
The accept for value.
Oh. I do have an accept for value template. Yeah, I do. I'll have to take my information off of it to share it on the Telegram page.
Chase Parker, if you've already sent the 1099-A to us, your copy B, you would want to send the copy B or the whole 1099-A with your wet ink signature on the back of it for us to file as the corrected one. You will not want to send that to the Treasury yourself. So you would mail that to us and then we would file it, but we will not file it until your funds come, because we don't want to send another one and then it get messed up and it mess up your process. So
Ella, I believe I heard in one of your videos that we can fill out a 1099-A for a total debt sum amount and that you can distribute those payments. Yes, you understood correctly, and we can do it that way.
So the admins, moderators in the Telegram will put in the YouTube, we'll put the Telegram link back up here. Guys, it's only open for a couple hours. So you'll have to make sure that once the live is over, you get the link and jump on there. We're trying to limit the ability for the scammers to get in.
It'll actually only be up for an hour. Because we're not going to let it go longer than that to make sure that it's not going to be a shareable link for you to just share with everybody. We're trying to keep scammers out of our channel. Lena J, where do you get the 1099As and how do you start the process? They're on back order from the IRS. The hard copies are. You can do it on 1099online.com, and you need the ebook from us to be able to move forward because all of the whole process is in that ebook. So if anyone's new that doesn't know the process and is learning it, you're going to need the ebook. And if your questions aren't answered in that, then you can ask questions because pretty much everything is answered within that ebook. You'll access the templates on the Telegram page. You'll go to the chat channel that you're in. You're going to go to the logo, our logo. Click on it. It'll bring up files. It'll bring up a lot of different tabs. You'll go under the files tab, and they're underneath that link. If you filed a 56 form, it depends on who you filed it with because that's giving them trusteeship over you. So I don't know. If you filed it with someone else, then unless that one's terminated somehow, our agreement. So I know that there's been a lot of talk in the first step group about the 56. When you sign our agreement, and you and I or us enter into that agreement with you, we enter into a fiduciary duty to act as a trustee on your behalf as a beneficiary. So that takes the place of the Form 56 by having that agreement. If you want us to forever be your trustee, that's what a 56 would be filled out for. But our agreement already enters into a fiduciary duty on our part to act as trustees on your behalf for the transactions in which you present to us.
Jenny Hubble, is there a next step? Yeah, next step Telegram beyond the next step group. There will be once we start getting some testimonies, we'll start building some other channels.
Yeah, once funds come in, you'll step up into the next funds. The funds have been released group, or your funds have been received group. Until that happens, we have a realtor channel. If you're a realtor and you want to be in the realtor group so that we can start networking together, you have to request that as a realtor. We will not take recommendations or referrals from other people. The realtor themselves will have to reach out and contact us to want to be in that group. So we don't want other people referring them to us and then us having to explain the whole process. They've got to understand some of this and want to be a part of it. Yeah. Now, what you're going to do is go into JarrettRealtorNetwork@gmail.com and request to be put into the real estate networking group on Telegram.
And this is for realtors only. I just dropped that into the chat.
Realtors, title companies, developers. If you're an investor, and I mean like developer investor, then we can drop you into that group. But you're going to have credentials within the real estate industry that we're going to be asked to show so that you'll be let in. I'm sorry, but there's just a lot of scam out there. And if you don't have the credentials, you're not going to be in that group. So please, if our admins ask you for your credentials, it's for a reason, just to keep our channel networking with the right people. So if you are in that group, welcome. And we're going to get a poll going on when a good time is for us to do a Zoom call amongst each other. So
if you're wanting us to be your trustee for paying off debt, in the description box, you're just going to need to put paying off debt. If you're totaling all of it up, and doing it on one 1099A, just debt payoff or paying off debt. And then when the funds come in, we will ask you for itemized account numbers on where we're supposed to send the funds.
Let me make something real clear to everyone on here, especially the new people that are on here. You will be identified. When the funds come in, Drew and I will be making a phone call to you to let you know that your funds have come in. We're going to be asking for identification to be sent over to us. We're going to do a Zoom call with you to make identification based on your ID that you send us. And then when you go to acquire the property that you have submitted for funds, we're going to verify the same income. We're going to verify the same identification with the dealership, title company, builder, whoever it might be. We are going to identify before we release funds. If someone is trying to pull something over on us, you will be found out, because we are doing our identification on the back end, not the front end. But we will not release funds until we know that we are releasing them to the right person. If we get something back that is not the right person, it will be called identity theft. It will be sent back to the Treasury, and it will be flagged as identity theft, and they can get into the IP addresses and see where they're coming from. So I highly suggest that you are who you say you are, and that you have the identification to back that up. If you're doing this for someone else, you will be figured out, and it won't be good. So please, please do it the right way. Megan, we are working with some people in Canada now, and it seems to be the exact same process that we do here. So if you want to submit your paperwork over to us, we can file it on your behalf. If you're contacted by us that says paperwork processed and moving to the next phase of Telegram, your paperwork is done, out the door, sent to the processing center. If it says received, that's just letting you know that we received your paperwork. If something's wrong, you're going to get an email that says something's wrong, or we're going to make a phone call to you to let you know that things need to be changed or what needs to be changed.
Linda Nix, no, we haven't put anything up on the Pure Trust yet. We'll get that. Tara's just verifying some other stuff before we put anything out on
that. Truth Seeker, you're going to need to request our Telegram private chat group. If anyone needs access to the private chat group in Telegram, you're going to need to either get it from here, they're going to drop a pin, either get it from here or else email me, and in the email subject line, put Telegram. That's all you have to say. If you write me a story, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have way too many emails. As much as I'd like to converse with all of you, I'm going to read the subject line and move on. And I hope that you're okay with me dropping it to you and not saying much, because I'm trying to get to everyone. So I think that's the fastest and easiest way.
Yeah, I see there's a lot of people in here that are needing help with child support.
We can
we need to make a group.
I don't know. Let me talk that over. Let me talk that over.
Because you can use your 1099A to pay off your child support. You're just gonna have to be better if you had a wet ink copy, the real one and did a wet ink signature and sent it in, and allow them to file it. But you can use the 1099-A to pay it off.
Let me, yeah, we do. We have a lot of people going through child support issues. Let me talk it over amongst the admins and see if we want to do something different to handle that. But I want to make that a group decision, not a me decision.
If you've emailed asking for a ebook or asking us to be a trustee and needing an agreement, yeah, just wait. You don't have to send it back. I think a lot of people send out another request and it just floods our emails. So
if you fill out the agreement too, please hang on to it until you have your 1099s done to send to us, the copy Bs. It's just so much easier for us to have everything together than to go look for different things. I mean, we literally, if you haven't heard from us, it's probably because we have a stack of agreements and a stack of 1099s separated. And now we have to go and match them and figure out if we have this. I mean, it's a process. Like, we have a huge stack of things that were sent individually that now we have to go figure out where they are.
Let's see.
If you have an overpayment from Social Security, is that debt? I would send that back, honestly, as an accept for value. I would send that back as an accept for value. And charge it back to the straw man. With your Social Security number without the dashes, that makes it an account number. Personally, that's how I would handle that, because they know what to do with it.
So I've sent you a draft copy. So if you've sent us a draft copy of the 1099-A with your agreement, is it better for me to mail you the paper with the wet ink signature? Only if you want to. Now, if you've sent us a 1099-A and it says do not process or do not file to the IRS
with a blue stamp across it,
blue across it, I need the one that you get back that does not have that blue across it, because we actually make copies of that 1099-A and send it with the OID and the 1096 and everything that we file as a paper trail. So please make sure that when you send us your 1099-A, that it does not have that blue writing across it. No, because our bank accounts are set up. Huh? Oh, it says, well, we get flagged for so much money being deposited to you guys. We're actually set up in a series, guys. The way our charter is set up for our businesses actually allows us to label everybody. So we're good with that. We've already checked on all of that. If you've sent us an email for the Telegram link and ebook, we will get that to you. If you, or you can get it from the moderators tonight, guys, because they're going to be adding the link in here when the live is over. Right now, they have the Telegram chat closed to help moderate this. So there's no sense in putting the link in here until it gets closer to the end.
Mm-hmm. And please do not bombard the admins with status update questions, because they don't have the status update for you. And they're not there to give you a status update. They're there to help you through the process of making sure your paperwork is good. And if you can't, for some reason, find the answer to the question in the ebook, then the ebook is under files and Telegram also. But if you can't find the answer to the ebook in the ebook, then ask the admins for help, but please, we've all had to do our research to get to where we are right now. Please read and make sure that your question isn't answered in there before you bombard them. Again, if you're already in Telegram under the private chat channel, you have access to the ebook. If you click on our logo and go under files, you'll see the ebook. I think it might be pinned. Is it pinned?
I don't know.
But I know for sure it's under files. So
if you send us your Telegram username, I guess that's to move you to the next group. We'll get you the link out. Some of you guys, I'm finding you in Telegram and I'm going ahead and dropping the link in, but it expires. So, you know, if you haven't clicked on it and opened it in time, then you just need to send me another DM.
If someone wants you to be a trustee, the only suggestion, and I'm not going to give any training on that at all whatsoever right now until we have testimonies and know that our process is perfected and everything is, you know, perfectly smooth. We're not going to offer training or anything like that on becoming a trustee. What I can tell you is you need to know trust law, number one. You must know trust law. You must know contract law. You need to know operating in commerce and how that works with your USC and UCC codes. And, you know, those are the main things. You must know trust law. You must know that you must know that.
So far, no funds have come in yet. I know I've seen a lot of people ask. Yeah, we're praying that they will be released here soon. I've had some people DM me that have some connections with the IRS that have said that, you know, a lot of checks are being cut. I know it's tax season, so a lot of refunds are going back out, and we hit them at the same time, guys.
I can tell you that I've got several that are still in title waiting to receive funds also. So it's not just us. The title companies haven't received the funds on the ones that we have in title yet either. So, so it's not just us. There's people still waiting for funds. We are at 45 calendar days on the first ones that were sent, not 45 business days, calendar days. So, but again, remember, we didn't hit them in October. We hit them in April when they were filing taxes and doing all of the tax returns. So we hit them at a really hard time anyway.
And we're counting from when we mailed it, guys, on ours, because we were the first ones that our title company sent off. So that's 45 days for us. That's not counting you guys, because we didn't start with you all until after the 1st of April, really and truly, around the 4th, 5th.
So what does a blue stamp mean? Do not send to the IRS. That means that you haven't gotten the accepted version of the copy B. You've got to wait until you receive the accepted version of the copy B, and then it won't have that stamp on there. That's the form that we need to be able to send it in. It usually takes like a day or two maybe to get it back, unless it's slower right now. But yeah, wait until you get the clean copy of the copy B and then send that with the agreement together so that we don't have to look for it. It'll make your process faster and it'll make our process faster.
I think it says Jarrett Realty Investors process is what the ebook is actually called in the files. I know we had a couple of things that need to be corrected. He might have taken it out today to correct that and then put it back in. So but I'm pretty sure that's what the name of it is.
And let me make sure that you understand. There was some confusion about gift cards in there. You're not allowed to use a 1099-A to purchase gift cards. Okay, you're not allowed to use a 1099-A to purchase gold, silver, precious metals, crypto, none of that. The 1099-A form is very important that you understand what you're filing. When you do that, you're filing an acquisition of property, which means it's collateral backed, okay? Or you're abandoning debt that you've already established. So you're abandoning debt or acquiring collateral property. I think the only reason, and some of the confusion was if you're going to acquire a vehicle, automobile, we said that if you're over that 20% mark of what we're allowed to distribute, then we could use it towards a gas card or something like that. That's still towards the property that you acquired. Okay, but we can't just go and acquire gift cards. That's not something we can do. Also, if you're looking at a property that is listed as commercial or multifamily, you cannot do that. You've got to do personal residential property only.
So somebody said after they read the ebook, what's another good book to read? The David E. Robinson books, guys, are some very good books to read. Teaches you about the straw man, teaches you about common law, teaches you about the trust.
Give yourself credit. Money Doesn't Grow on Trees is one of my favorite ones by Robinson. Yeah, Give Yourself Credit. Money Doesn't Grow on Trees. That's a great book. And then all of the straw man, common law books that he has, if you're just getting started with what the straw man is versus the beneficiary, then that kind of breaks it down for you.
No, we've not done a claim a lien video yet.
And just the American claiming your status or doing a status correction is completely voluntary, whether you want to do that or not. You do not have to do that. I am not discrediting those who say that you need to do the process. I believe that having paperwork on file showing that you have recognized the fraud that was done against you is not a bad thing to have at all whatsoever, if you can afford to do the process. But in order to utilize the acquisition of property and the abandonment of debt, you do not have to have the status correction.
So if they, Mario, if the 1099-A was blocked after it was accepted, do we wait to receive funds and then correct it? If they went back in and blocked it, that's something with the IRS. You're going to have to find out why it got blocked.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going through a divorce, is there a way to request funds for lawyer fees? Ask him if he'll take the 1099-A. Ask him if he'll accept the 1099-A and file it to pay for your lawyer fees.
Yeah, I did file 1099-A to pay off a mortgage. They rejected me and did not send the 1099-A back. We're all experiencing that. They don't send it back. most of the time they go ahead and scan that in or whatever they do, and then they, you know, hit your straw man with it. Our admin moderator within here just dropped that book, Give Yourself Credit, Money Doesn't Grow on Tree, on Amazon. You can click there. That's a really good book. Now, be careful, guys, because a lot of the things that you are able to buy on Amazon and other places, in public places, you're not going to get the full story of some of the documents that they share within those books. A lot of things have been taken out of them on purpose, but they're still very educational on different processes.
So can we help with the fees that you need for closing and other fees on real estate? You can actually call a title company to get a ballpark figure. We've been saying about 3% closing costs, depends on where you're at.
It depends on the state. Every state is different. So I would call a real estate agent or a title company and just ask a general question. How much are closing costs percentage-wise in your area, so that you'll know kind of a ballpark how much to add in, because it varies state by state. You know, some states use attorneys only, some states use title companies. So it just depends. There's a lot of variations of things state to state.
Oh, shit. Fourplex? No, you can't get a fourplex.
That's considered commercial. A duplex, yes. If you're personally living in one side of it, you can do a duplex, but you can't do a fourplex, because a duplex is considered residential. A fourplex is considered commercial, unless they have it listed as residential and you're staying in one of the units, but I don't recommend that.
Does the count of the 45 days, 45 or 60 business days, is that before or when it's accepted, or when we send our paperwork off? If you file it online, it's from when it's accepted, guys, because all they have to have is our paperwork to release the funds. If you did a hard copy, it's from the time that they get the packet. So if you send us a hard copy, it's going to be from the time that they've received everything. If you're in Texas, we can help you find a house. I mean, you're going to have to go find your own.
Well, we can help with the car too, most likely by then. I mean, I have connections with dealers, but they're just not awake to this whole process yet. So hopefully they will be soon. We're working on that. So
we will get them all signed, guys.
I will not sign it before you sign it, ever.
And we'll sign the agreement after we look at all the paperwork. And we've been signing them. Yes, we've got to get a lot of them back out.
Yeah, I will never, ever sign a contract prior to you signing it. And then there's a couple that I did not sign off on today, because there are some things behind the scenes that don't look good to me. So if I'm not comfortable with what you're doing, I'm not signing an agreement with you. So, you know, that's not but less than a handful of people so far on here, or maybe a handful. But yeah, I will not. I'm going to protect what we're doing. And, you know, if you are uncomfortable with us doing it that way, then we're probably not the trustee for you, but I'm not going to sign an agreement prior to you signing and me seeing what you're doing.
No, you cannot pay yourself a year's salary with a 1099-A. It is not for you to pay yourself.
Guys, that's what I mean. You've got to understand what you're doing. Guys, gals, you've got to understand what you're doing. If you are just jumping into the free line, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble. You've got to educate on the process. You've got to educate and know what you're doing. You've got to understand the forms that you're signing. You've got to understand the process a little bit. And if you're not willing to do the education, then you don't need to do this process.
So what a lot of people don't realize is that even when NESARA hits, let's just say when it hits, if you're not contributing to society, you're not getting the funds that NESARA is supposed to promise. They're not just there for you to just sit at home and do absolutely nothing. That's what the government wants people to do now. That way they can control them.
And double dip into their trust and triple dip into their trust, because all of your unemployment, all of your disability, all of your Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, all that comes from your trust. Every bit of that comes from your trust. So they're double dipping every time that they're able to provide that benefit to you. You've got to understand the Treasury is your friend. So I'm not sure about.
I wouldn't do a conditional acceptance to the Treasury. I wouldn't conditionally accept them at all. You need them. So yeah, if you reach out through email, I mean, if you want to put agreement in the subject line, if you want to put attachment.
If you have attachments, just put attachments. If you put agreement, you're going to get the link. You're going to get the agreement back to you, even if you signed it. If I don't see the attachment, I'm just going to automatically assume that you want the agreement. I mean, real basic emails is best because, again, I'm trying to go through a lot of emails and I want to get to as many as I can, as quickly as I can. So the more basic they are, the better.
Email us to get our address. Just put need address in the subject line and I will send it out. Or if you want to DM me on Telegram, if you're in Telegram. NESARA is the national reset of the currency. Supposed to wipe out the debt, supposed to pay back all your interest that you've paid. Education was supposed to be free from the get-go. So if you've paid student loans, you're going to be getting those funds back. If you've been paying on a mortgage, you will get the interest back from that. And if it's been long enough, they will pay the mortgage off because anything backed by FDIC is fraudulent. So,
well, it's going to be if you have a mortgage loan, the principal is going to be paid first and the interest will be paid on the back end, which won't be interest like we have now. It's going to be like a set fee or a set percentage, not like the fluctuating percentages that you have now that they determine by your credit score.
And it's gonna remove us from the Federal Reserve note and take us to the rainbow currency, the gold and silver backed currency. So we'll go back on the gold and silver standard so that all of our lawful money is actually backed by something. Yes, you do. You have to do humanitarian projects after Gessera hits. I mean, it's. The email is pinned at the top of the chat, guys.
Yeah, again, scammers are out there. Somebody just said something about this. They almost got this person. If they're asking for if they're offering you a loan, asking for any money up front, anything like that, it's not us. Just be careful with that.
So for the account number on the 1099-A, if you are doing the one online, it's going to generate an account number. If you are doing one that you have a hard copy of, you're going to make up something that you can remember as an account number. Maybe your initials, date of birth, whatever you want to put in there. You want to make up an account number, because when we get it, we use that account number to fill out the OID. We put that account number on our OID so that they match it up. If you need step-by-step instructions, please email us. The email is pinned to the top of the chat, and just put ebook in the subject line, and we will send that out to you.
Yeah, Tyler Hurst, when filling out the 1099-A, you're the borrower and your beneficiary's name, but you'll need to look at the ebook on that. I don't know who's Rosa. I don't know if why you're wanting to report scam to the Treasury. They're your friend. I don't know if somebody scammed you from the Treasury. I don't know, but yeah, if someone else is liable for the debt, they need to do it with their trust.
So it looks like they've linked your phone number to our account in a scam situation. So sorry about that. I don't know how to help you with that. I understand you're not mad, but that'd be kind of annoying if you're getting phone calls trying to find us.
Mm-hmm. You're going to use a W-8-B-E-N if you're self-employed. A W-4-B is to give to an employer.
If your company's not going to take your W-8-B-E-N, then you're going to send that off to the IRS yourself. It's probably the best way to do it anyway, and then you're not dealing with the company telling you you can't file that, and then you running the risk of losing your job.
Yes, Mountain Goddess. Yes, you can do that. I'm not going to read the question out loud, though.
What?
Yeah, I think that's a troll, to be honest. Here, go block that.
Okay.
Sorry, we have to just get rid of a little bit of a comment here.
I mean, you can email us the account numbers, but we're going to need that 1099A copy B, and it will have those numbers on there.
I can't.
Yes, you want to add the CEO's name. You want it to go to the CEO if you're looking to use it to pay a bill.
Let's see. Yeah, please be careful. Apparently, there's people calling, claiming to be us also. We're not calling anyone. If we're calling you, I'm leaving a voicemail or I'm talking to you about what's wrong with your paperwork. So you're going to definitely know it's me or Drew.
Yeah, you might want to add that in there. If you're if you're renovating a home, you might want to add a little bit to stay in a hotel if you're going to have to move out for a week or so.
Awaken Ranger, did you call the child support office and they didn't give you the tax ID number? Call the Attorney General of your state and get it from them. I would say call the Attorney General of the state if the child support office isn't giving you the EIN number. I would try that first and then look in Dun and Bradstreet and see if it's in there. Follow the ebook. The answers that are in the ebook, we're just going to pass up because a lot of people are tired of hearing the same questions. I'd rather answer people that have questions that the ebook doesn't answer because that's covered in the ebook. W-8-BEN is for self-employed. You can also put it on file at your bank. You can file it every year. Even though you only have to do it once, I would do it every year. W-8-BEN is not just to stop the employer from taking taxes out because some employers aren't going to, you're going to have to exempt that because you're not a federal employee. So you're going to have to file exempt and send in the W-8-BEN with your 1040 at the end of the year, because when you file the W-4 and the I-9 or the W-9, you're entering into a contract to voluntarily pay taxes. So you're still going to need to file the 1040 with the W-8-BEN because you filled out the W-4 and the I-9.
Yeah, we're helping people in Ohio. Yeah, you should be able to use your 1099A because to pay off your SBA loans that you got from COVID relief.
Deborah Wilson, I know your situation. I'm trying to think of a way to help you with that, that you haven't already done. Drew and I'll get back with you one day this week. I need to ask a couple of other people what their suggestion is. Absolutely, Chris Pichet. He's a moderator in here. Why is anyone wanting to conditionally accept the Treasury for anything? You guys need to learn. You don't mess with the hand that feeds you. Knock it off. For real. For real.
No, you cannot use the 1099A to pay off your condo by yourself without a trustee.
Well, unless you already have a loan.
Well, yeah, okay.
If you have a loan already established, then yes, you can. If you want to go through the fight and the hassle of doing so, absolutely, because they're going to try to keep you enslaved to that situation so they can double dip. So it just depends on how you want to handle.
There's a link in the Telegram chat for the MMS.
Just got super dark.
If you've emailed us, guys, we'll get back with you. I'll look that one up. Fair market value is what you would actually pay for the property. So if it's listed at $495,000 and you say it's worth $520, that's fair market value. That's what you think. Balance of principal outstanding is going to be everything.
But I'm gonna tell you, if you send me that and it has the fair market value more than box number 2 of the balance of the principal, I'm gonna call you or email you, especially if it's to acquire new property, because number 2 should be more than it should either be more, number 2, box 2 should be more than box number 4, unless you're paying off a debt. If you're paying off a mortgage and you only have a little bit to pay, then your principal is going to be less than what your fair market value is. But if you're acquiring something new, it either needs to be the same or box 2 needs to be more.
That's interesting. I went to pay my mortgage today online, and they asked me if I wanted them to electronically send me a 1096 or 1099 online to file.
There you go.
So
there you go. They know what to do with it.
So if the mortgage company's asking you that,
Oops, sorry. You don't have to send a hard copy to us, Michael Williams, if you fill out online. You can just fill it out online and send us the clean version of the copy B without the blue writing. The birth certificate have to be authenticated on state and federal level before using UCC. Depends on what you're using it for.
That's fine if you put the same number in box 2 and 4. It will get accepted.
We're not going to offer that advice.
Yeah. Yeah, if you sent me a 1099-A with access code and I was able to get it.
You would have heard from us if we weren't able to open the document or didn't have the code. It's easier if you would just send a downloaded PDF and not the encrypted version. Because, I mean, if you can think of, look how many people we're dealing with. Preferably send us a downloaded version of the PDF, because a lot of you are sending us the encrypted versions without any code. And it's just, then we have to go back and ask you, and then we have an agreement and no 1099-A. So download everything into PDF format. Also, if you're signing or autographing our agreement, please scan it in a PDF format. I want a PDF format and a clean file. Screenshots don't work. They're black and they are very hard to read. So I would appreciate if you would send everything in PDF scanned format. And if you are, I want an autograph on the agreement. If you're typing out the autograph on the agreement, that's not going to work. I'm going to ask you to autograph the agreement and scan it back to me. I want a signature on it or an autograph on it. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good to know, Dwayne. So he has authenticated his birth certificate and the utilities zeroed him out. So he's now not having to pay for utilities. So there, there's some benefits to some of the stuff.
It depends on what you're using it for. Do you need to authenticate? I think that it helps to authenticate your birth certificate and have an authenticated copy. So yes, I do agree with that.
Just Dre, yes. You can acquire a single family home for that amount.
Alexis, you can, the agreement, if it's not, it's probably not in Telegram. I think that we took it out of there. So just send agreement in the subject line and I'll drop it to you after the chat here.
They might have Telegram closed right now for this.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's in there, to be honest. I think they might have taken it out. I think one of the admins would have to give it to you, or else you're going to have to ask us for it.
Well, if you've asked for a sum of money or a sum, when the funds come in, you're not going to be able to go over that. You're going to have to take in consideration of what all you're looking to get. You're going to need to take in consideration of the trustee fees. You're going to closing costs. So, if you asked for $700,000 and you decide you're going to find a place for $550,000, you might not have enough for everything. So you really are going to have to look at your numbers. And so if you've already sent one in and we filed it, and when it comes in, you're going to have to acquire property based on what your numbers are going to allow you to get. So
Yeah, if you're sending us unreasonable amounts of unreasonable principal amounts, we're gonna not be the trustee for you. And I mean, like I'll let you know. If you're trying to do $1 million Rolls Royce or a $150 million property or even a $30 million property, I mean, we're just not the trustee for you. What we're trying to do is, you know, I know some areas are a lot of money. Especially if you're purchasing land, but this is for personal use within reason. This isn't let's go from rags to riches overnight. Let's be reasonable with what you're asking. And if I don't feel like what you're asking is in the best interest of us or the beneficiary, I'm going to let you know that we're not the trustee for you. Perfect. If your box 2 and 4 match, that's perfect. You cannot purchase a warehouse that's commercial.
No, you can't use it with Amazon and apps that don't use billing stuff. Now, if you got an Amazon card that you're paying off debt with, yeah, that you're going to have to pay the debt on that card, just put all your debt in one 1099-A, and then we'll send it to Amazon to pay that off.
Because that's abandonment of debt. You've got to understand the terms acquisition and abandonment to understand the 1099-A. April Addison, yes, you can send a conditional acceptance if the credit union that you pay your vehicle loan to never sent back the 1099-A, then technically they accepted your payment. They did not send it back refusing or giving reason why they weren't accepting it, and they kept it, so that's accepting a payment. Look up your USC 15. You all need to really, 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 really become familiar with 15 USC 1692, all of it, especially A through K, but all of 15 USC 1692 applies to commerce and paying off and how that whole thing works. So you just need to go through and look at it. And get very familiar with 15 USC 1692, because if you're, explaining this to other people, or if you're fighting paying off debts, then you're going to need to use those codes quite frequently.
Yeah, I don't think the ebook has our mailing address. If it doesn't, just send us an email and put address in the subject line, and I'll send it to you. Yes, Khalid, $1 million property in states where the cost of living is more affordable. That's perfect. You can do that.
Can you explain the 80-20? If you have more than 20% left over, we cannot distribute more than 20% to you directly. So, we'll have to amend and find something else to pay off if you are going over the 20% in what's left over. So the 80-20, that's what that's about. If there's more than 20% left over, we're going to have to find something else to use that money on. Because it will not be able to be given to you directly. Rosa B, that's a conditional acceptance. They need to prove that because it absolutely is a commercial debt that they created.
Yes, you can use it for a new build in a rural area. Yes, CAK. If you own a home already, you can acquire another one.
Sentient Sojourner, we will definitely help you in Corpus when your funds come in. We have some people within our group here that are in Corpus, actually. So, but we can help you definitely. Drew wants to come to the beach.
So we announced that earlier. I don't know if you missed it, Tremaine, but this weekend we caught up with a good bit of them. I think we're definitely into May. First, maybe the second, third, fifth, somewhere around in there. But if we've missed anybody.
Again, if you haven't heard from us by tomorrow evening, then reach out to us on Wednesday. Give us through tomorrow to make sure that we have gotten all of the emails, because we have a good stack to still send out to let you know that your paperwork's done. So please just give us until Wednesday morning and then ask us. Darnell, if you've got your 98 series, you're ready to set up your trust and everything. So, there's some admins in the group that can probably help you with that too.
Yes, you can use us again next year. Your loan from the bank was bought by Fannie Mae. Ask them to show you a.
First of all, when a loan is, yeah.
Ask them to show you a wet ink signature where you contracted with Fannie Mae.
That mortgage has been paid off now by you. It's been paid out of your trust when you got the mortgage. It's been paid with interest from you. It's been double dipped with your remittance coupon every month. Now it's been sold again, so they've been paid again through Fannie Mae. So your mortgage has been paid about 3 different times so far.
Yes, Richie, as long as the warehouse is used to store your personal stuff. If you're using it as a business, no.
Be very careful, guys, what you're trying to purchase or acquire. We've got to change our terms because if you're acquiring something that is commercial and is listed as commercial, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I'm not going to be able to distribute funds on a commercial property. So just know that it has to be listed as residential on Zillow or Realtor.com or wherever you're looking. MLS, wherever you're looking, it has to be listed as residential for us to distribute funds on it.
Why are all y'all wanting to pay off your taxes when you acquire property? Oh. Because you're not, once you acquire a property, you're going to put an alloidal title on it and keep you from paying taxes.
Yeah, you're going to put an allodial title and a land patent on it and put it into a trust that is a private trust that's not taxable. Barn dominium build, you can do that on land. Yes, absolutely. We can pay the builder directly. First batch of paperwork is, we're still waiting on funds. So, we're at the first ones that we sent out from Title. That wasn't from us. Title, the title company that is has contracted with, that we have about four different ones in title that we are waiting on funds to go directly to them. They haven't received them yet. And then we haven't received them on anything yet either. So
Anthony Johnson, we're going to reach out to you.
Yeah, because we're trying to fight the credit bureaus as the people. There's a lot of people that want to get on board and fight them. So I'm not a fan of any of the credit bureaus.
Real property, guys, you cannot do investments. If you're talking stock exchange, gold,
even if you're talking buying property for investment purposes, the only way you have to use it for personal use. You can't do the allodial title until you have a property that you hold the deed or title in, or a bill of sale. So you have to have either a clear title, a clear bill of sale to be able to even get the allodial land patent started. That's why you don't hear much about them, because people still owe on their properties. And as long as you are paying property taxes, you're renting your property. As long as you are paying property taxes, you're no more than a tenant in your own property. Awaken Ranger, I can get you help with the land patent stuff if you already have a property that you own outright. Just send me an email and say property, that you already own a property, and then I'll know that it's paid off, and then I can get somebody to help you with that if I can't.
Bruce Perry, that's fine there.
Absolutely. I know people that have an allodial title and a land patent, and they own all of the surface of the land, the rights below and above the property.
Sorry, Holly. Yes, we can read the questions that we're answering.
I really want to get a list of those people.
Okay.
Just don't know how. Guys, if you want to fight the credit bureaus with us, please, this is the only way I know how to do it right now. Send me an email that says credit bureaus in the subject line. That tells me that you want to fight them with us. We might do, I'm going to see if I can get someone to help us do a group conditional acceptance and name all of us as the ones coming against them. I think a lot of times things are stronger as a group. So I've written some of the names down that want to fight the credit bureaus, but if you're one of them that wants to, please just send me an email, and you don't have to say anything except credit bureaus in the subject line, and I'll write your name down so that when we get something put together to, that we can go after them as a group. I think that we're stronger in numbers. I don't know where Queen Kamika Makita, if your house is foreclosed on, can you get it back? Look at your state and see. I know in Texas you have 2 years to go back and get your house back. So, you know, when a home is auctioned off here in Texas, they're not able to put title insurance on that property because you have a redemption period of 2 years in the state of Texas. So you'll need to find out what your redemption period is in your state to find out how long you have to go back and get your house.
So they stated that they filed a 1099-A to pay off their car, and the bank stated they are a federal credit union. They don't pay taxes and therefore can't accept the 1099-A. They're backed by FDIC, one, so that's a fraudulent
15 USC 1692. Go look all of those codes up. 15 USC 1692. And look all of those codes up because you're going to need to conditionally accept them. The email address is jarrettrealtyinvestors@gmail.com. No punctuation within the email address. It's jarrettrealtyinvestors, all one word, @gmail.com.
Anthony. Sent an agreement on the 20th of April. I think it was the old agreement. No, if you sent the other agreement, that's fine. Now, there's no statute of limitations on fraud. Bank repossessed my car, won a default judgment, and sent a letter a couple of days ago about wage garnishment. Can 1099-A handle that, or should I CA? Well, wage garnishment is illegal. You're going to have to look up the codes on that and fight the wage garnishment.
Those are under 18 USC codes. And there's some Supreme Court rulings on that too that you can look up that have already ruled in your favor with wage garnishment.
Yeah.
So if you already have an established debt that you are abandoning, then you are abandoning an established debt. You can still acquire something new as far as a property, or you can get one house, one car, that kind of thing per year per trust. So if you're acquiring something, you can acquire one per year per trust, but you can abandon any debts that are already established.
Yeah. I might be saying it wrong. That might be.
It is allodial. It's
yeah, my bad.
allodial.
It is.
It is allodial.
It's allodial.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Email address is pinned in the chat.
Shay, that's fine. You can do that. That's perfectly fine, Shay Williams. In Houston, you can do that amount, and you can justify with 5 kids. You can justify the property.
Casey Jensen, you've asked to be in the private chat on Telegram. The link will be in here in a little bit, and then if you don't get in with that one, I will.
You'll just need to drop us an email and be patient. I'm sorry.
I'll respond to the Telegram one.
Doing the best we can to get to everybody. We're going to make another group. It's going to be the next phase after the phase to go into once funds are released for testimonials and stuff like that. But if you have a testimonial with paying off debt, you can go ahead and put that up into the group that you're in. That's something that encourages everyone.
If you need to edit, it says right here, need to edit 1099A I sent you, would I be able to e-file and just email copy B and continue the process? Yes, you can. You can go in and edit it. If it doesn't let you edit it, you might have to block the submission and then redo it if you've already done it online.
Michael Wright, statute of limitations for fraud is 7 years from the date you discovered the fraud. No, there is no statute of limitation on fraud. That's why we're able to. That is why we're able to access the trust and a lot of other things, because there is no statute of limitation on fraud.
That's fine. You can get a place that has a in-law quarters on it. Silver Wings, I'll look for it. I know we asked for a clear copy. I'll go back in and look for a clear copy.
Yeah, look up the 18 USC codes and go and look at Supreme Court rulings on wage garnishment, because that is, you cannot garnish someone's earnings in common law and constitutional law. The original Constitution still stands. The amended Constitution is nothing more than statutes and codes. The original Constitution still stands. Nichelle Porter, no. I would say no to that. Yeah, 12 USC as well. I would choose a non-Hague country to authenticate your birth certificate.
The link to the chat group is to the Telegram chat group has been posted, guys.
If I pay off my existing home using 1099A, how can I add my wife to the deed title? Because I don't want to ask the mortgage company because they want her personal info. And you can do that after the fact when you get an allodial title. Put it into the trust, and she's going to be automatically on it then.
All right, guys, a couple more questions.
What do you do? William Counsel, if you, what do you do when you submitted your 1099-A online to pay a bill in your beneficiary name? If you made yourself the lender and then the borrower, it's going to trigger them to file an OID. If you did it with the Treasury as a lender and your beneficiary name as the borrower, you're going to need to send your copy B to them and tell them it's paid in full to file the OID in 1096, 1040V to be able to collect the funds.
Yeah, if your social's in wrong, I would go back and change that, guys.
That'll be considered fraud.
You need to fix it.
If your social security number is wrong in a document that you're filing, that's fraudulent. So you need to go, yeah, definitely void that. I would void that. I wouldn't even correct that.
We haven't gotten any progress on the deceased relatives, but I've seen some individuals post some stuff in the Telegram chat group about that, on what you need to fill out. So you might want to ask in there.
It's been on the market for 5 or more weeks. What percentage below listing price is good to offer for the home? Depends on where. If it's been on the market for 5 or more weeks, that's not that long. I don't know where the property is, so I can't make that suggestion, but depends on how fast properties are going in your area, but 5 weeks isn't that long.
See, guys, right here. Here's another
testimony.
Young man in Texas who got his wife's car paid by the Treasury and got the title. He also got $7,000 in credit card paid with the coupon remittance. So it works. It's not going to work all the time. That's why you have to keep doing it.
Thanks for sharing your testimony. So many people don't want to. But that helps us help other people to understand that this process does work. Yes, people are saying that you have to do your paperwork first. Have you ever needed your paperwork done to be able to go to a lender and ask for a loan? Because we're stepping in place as a trustee. Do you have to have your status corrected to go to a dealership? If they take a 1099-A and they're okay with accepting your 1099-A, do you have to have your status changed to do that? No, they're eliminating the middleman of the lender and becoming the trustee instead of the lender becoming the trustee. So the people that are saying this, I really question their money motives behind it, because you've never had to have your status corrected in order to go get a loan. And they enter into a fiduciary duty as a trustee to your trust the same way that we do. And you haven't ever had to have your status corrected to do that. So in the manner in which we're doing it, no, you do not have to have your status corrected. And there's a lot of people out there that are trying to confuse this process for money reasons.
So what did the guy file to get the car paid? He used the accept for value on the remittance or the coupon. You tear off the bottom of it, it's a coupon, guys, or a money order. It has routing numbers and a checking account number on it.
Yes, you can do a land patent on air property. Yes, you can. I suggest doing that. Because until you do, you're just a tenant on your property. Not a non-paying. What's a non-paying country to authenticate a birth certificate? It's a non-Hague, Hague.
You'll have to look up the list. So.
All right, we're going to just take one or two more questions and then call it a night so that everyone can go with their families and hang out or go to bed or whatever. We can help with the payoff process, but if you're paying off debts, you're going to need to add the 5% on top of it, because we're going to take since there's nothing closing, we're going to have to take our 5% off of the top.
You said HEIR, right?
Did you say air? Land. I might have said that. I can never remember what I say, honestly, but yeah, it's land patent. I said air. If you are an heir, HEIR, to a property, you can file a land patent if it's paid off. Yes. So yes, heir was what I said, but HEIR. And you can file a land patent as long as the property is paid in full and you own the title outright. You will be added to the private chat room. Oh yeah, I think I might have dropped a link, but it might have expired for you, Amelia. All right. Yes, we have realtors in the Arizona area, so we can connect whenever your funds come in.
Yeah, we do answer emails. Just letting you know. I mean, it's kind of hard to answer 1,500, but we do answer them. Matter of fact, I went from almost 400 DMs down to 100 on Saturday night. So, and Tara answered about 1,200 emails, went from almost 2,500 down to 1,100. So they get answered. Actually, that's more than 1,200. So.
Pretty tired of that person's disrespect, to be honest.
And if you want to keep saying I don't answer them, I don't have to answer them, period. I mean, you can move on with another trustee. So, all right, guys, we're going to end it right here.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you in prayer. We thank you for this time together. We hope that we have all learned from each other tonight and gotten a little something out of what you would have us to hear. We ask that you would just help us to reveal what we need to know as we go forward in this movement, that you would help us to be a light in others' dark world that they're living in, Lord Jesus, and that you would just protect us all and lift us up with hope and complete discernment, as there are people out there that are trying to discredit our movement and to make people scared of the process. Lord Jesus, we just ask that you would remove all of the doubt and to let them know that we didn't all meet by coincidence, but we are here because you brought us here. And we thank you for that in Jesus' name.
Good night. Good night, guys.
Thank you. And y'all have a good night. And we will see you on Wednesday at 7 Central.